Hey folks, this is JLove47 back with another video. I want you guys to watch this game and tell me what areas of my game that I need to work on. What can I do to improve? I'm open to learning. I'm not the best chess player in the world, so just leave your comments and tell me what you think about this game. What part of my game I need to work on and what can I do to get better. I was up against a guy named maths37. I played him on chess.com back on October 24th, and I won by checkmate. He's rated 1,420. I'm rated 1,135. So he was rated about 300 points more than I was at the time that we played. So I would think that he would pretty much whoop my ass, but it turns out that I pretty much dominated him towards the end of the game, and I gave him the business. Took it to him, got funky with him. So this is how the game played out. Here we go. I moved my pawn up to d4. He moved his pawn up to d5. I moved my knight up to f3, trying to get control of the center, the four center squares, because all attacks go through the four center squares of the board. So whoever takes control of the four center squares will be able to have a defensive edge, because your opponent won't be able to really attack because you got those four squares on lock. So that's what I try to do. He moves his bishop to f5. I move my pawn up to e3, giving that pawn on d4 more protection. He does the same, moving his pawn to e6. And now I have a little pawn chain going on here, moving my pawn up to c3. So I have a lot of protection here now. And I'm really taking control over the four center squares. And as you can see, all my three pawns are lined up just like his is. He takes my knight, moving his bishop down to b1. And I take his bishop with my rook. So he has a knight now and I have a bishop. He moves his pawn down to a6. I move my knight up to d3. He moves his pawn down to h6. And then I castle because I want to protect my king. I don't want my king out there in the middle of the battlefield. I don't want this man thinking he can, you know, trap my king. I got to protect my king. Else I'm going to lose the game. So, you know, he got his little bodyguards there on f2, g2, and h2 protecting him, so he alright now. He moves his bishop down to d6, and I give my king a little more protection with a little pawn chain over there, moving him up to g3, move my pawn up to g3, and then he moves his knight down to f6. I put his king into check, and he protects his king by moving his pawn down to c6. Then I move my rook over to the F file, well actually the E file, sorry, to E1, and he also castles. So then I move my pawn up to E4, and as you see, it's about to be a lot of fireworks going off here. He has his pawn and his knight there protecting, well actually he has two pawns protecting his pawn, and he has a knight protecting his pawn. And I have a bishop and a rook protecting my pawn, so you know a lot of fireworks about to go off. So he moved his pawn down to b5, threatening my queen, and if I didn't want it to get captured, I have no other choice but to move it back, so I do just that. And then he takes my pawn there on e4. I take his pawn with my bishop. He takes my bishop with his knight. I take his knight with my queen, and now we're getting it popping. You know what I mean? It's a lot of war going on here in the middle of the battlefield. So he moves his queen down to f6. I then move my rook up to e3. He moves his rook down to a7. I move my pawn up to h4. He moves his pawn down to c5, threatening my pawn. And I move my pawn up to b3. He takes my pawn there on d4, threatening my rook. And I could either attack him with my queen, my knight, or my pawn. I decided to take him out with my pawn. So now we just exchange pawns there. He moves his rook over to e8. I move my rook up to b2 because I want to get my rook involved in the game. And he threatens my rook, but it's okay because I just move my rook over to c2, protecting my bishop. And if he decides to take my bishop, I can also take him, and that's what he decides to do, exchange bishops, and we do just that. So I move my rook down to c1. Now he wants to get his knight involved. He moves his knight down to d7. I move my rook over to c3, taking control of that c-file. He moves his rook up to a8. I move my rook up to c7, threatening his knight. And he moves his knight down to b6, and I bring my other rook up, threatening his knight again. And he moves his knight to d5. I can't do nothing to that knight with my queen because he's protecting it with his pawn there. So I move my knight up because I know that my knight is safe. He's not in harm's way. If the queen decides to take him, that'd be quite stupid because I can take the queen out with either my pawn there on d4 or either my queen on e4. So he moves his knight up and take my rook. I don't know why I left my rook there. And I take his knight. And then I move my knight up, now threatening his queen and his rook. He moves his queen up to d8, and I decide to take his rook out. Then right here, he decided to take the knight instead of taking the rook at the moment because I could have, checked him right there, and it would have been checkmate. I move my queen up. He takes my rook. I put him in check, and then he got to move out the way, so now I got his rook. So now we even. And I take his rook out there on a8. So now you have both men with 6 pawns left. He has 6 pawns. I have 6 pawns. He has a queen. I have a queen. He has a king, of course, and I have a king. So basically, we're in a situation where every move counts because we're even. We both got the same amount of material. So the better man is going to win. Whoever make the better moves, whoever make the smarter moves, the more intelligent moves is going to win this game. And it turns out that I was the one that made the more intelligent, smarter moves. Not saying that I got superior intelligence or nothing like that, but I obviously have superior skill, made the better moves, even though he's rated higher. I move my pawn up to g4. He moves his queen down to f4. I move my queen to d8, putting him into check. He moves out the way, and I put him into check again, moving my pawn up to h5. He moves his king back to h7, out of harm's way. I move my pawn up to f3. He moves his pawn down to f6. And I move my queen to e8. I guess I was trying to put him into check right there. And then he puts me into check. I have no other choice but to move out the way. He puts me into check again because he wants to take my pawn. I move my king to g3 out of harm's way, out of check. And he takes my pawn. So now he's leading. He's leading because now he still has 6 pawns and I only have 5. So now he's up in the game. And now I even it with 5 pawns apiece. And this is where he basically fucked himself. He fucked up here. Excuse my French, but I'm just keeping it funky. I don't know why he made that move. Maybe he didn't see, and I took his queen. And this is how the rest of the game played out. I guess he was trying to move that pawn down because he wanted a promotion, but I wasn't going to let that happen. So I protected my pawn there. He moved his pawn down. I moved my pawn up, putting him into check. Then I put him into check again. Well, actually, I didn't put him into check again, but I'm protecting my pawn. He moves his pawn down, trying to get a queen promotion. Not going to let that happen, though. I put him into check right here. He has no other choice but to move out the way. Now I got a queen. Now we about to get this popping. About to dig in that ass. So he's into check again. I move my queen down. Put him into check again. And this is pretty much a wrap. I'm pretty much giving him the business now because he can't do nothing. And I have 2 queens, and he doesn't have anything. Put him into check again. He moved back into the corner, surrender. And I put him into checkmate. Checkmate, motherfucker. You know, so it was a pretty good game. I thought that with him being rated higher, that he would pretty much whoop my ass, but it turns out that I end up dominating him towards the end of the game by making smarter moves. When he gave up his queen by taking my pawn was really a bad move for him. And that was pretty much it. I gave him the business, you know. I put it on him. Got funky with him. It's like, but yeah. Leave your comments and elaborate. Tell me what areas I need to improve on, and I'll be back with another video sometime soon. Peace.